Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining this evening. My name is Lorena Carroll. I'm an Ayurveda wellness consultant, and this evening I'm going to talk about how to balance the mind, the body, and the emotions. This is a really interesting topic. It's a very delicate topic because we know how easy it is for many human beings on this planet to get easily agitated or feeling worried, fearful, angry, sad, whatever the emotion is. It can be very uncomfortable if it's to one extreme or the other. And so it's very important to know through using Ayurveda principles, how can we create that balance? And the word that I love is equanimity. How can we possess equanimity 24 hours a day, that we have complete balance of the mind and the body and the emotions, that we feel good all of the time, we don't have excessive worry. That may seem like a task that to try to achieve that is something that may not be able to be achieved through natural means. Some of you might be using medications and having to run from doctor to doctor to try to help you uh, deal with anxiety, depression, anger, irritability. You hear a lot about anger management and people wanting to get help for anger management. Well, the first thing I always recommend for that, and I'm going to do a lot of recommendations, obviously, for this topic, but I want to just backtrack a little bit and talk about the current state of our lifestyle, which is actually causing much more imbalance in a person emotionally than you would have had, many decades ago. I read a book about 30 years ago. I don't know the author, but it's called The Continuum Concept. And one thing that struck me as just so wonderful about this book is that this lady who was a medical doctor was fed up with her life, and she wanted to do something great and interesting. And so actually she was a model that became a doctor. And then she went to South America, and she went into the jungles there and into some tribe. And she offered to help the tribe at no charge for medical care. She offered to help the tribe, and in turn, she would give them medical care because she wanted to observe them. She wanted to see how they lived. And what came out of it for her was remarkable. First of all, they say it takes a village to raise a child. Well, that's literally what they had, was a village. So the women didn't feel alone. The women had the ability to lean on each other. In today's society, many of you probably don't live close to your relatives. If they do, they are very busy, so you're raising your children alone. Whether you're a man or a woman, you don't have maybe much family, you're working full time. It used to be that the women didn't work as much, and so at least you'd have one primary caretaker at home, with the children. So I think when she observed this tribe, she noticed that they're very raw in their emotions. That there's no stigmas. Men can't cry. Men have to be always bold and fearless. And so what she found is that if people were upset about something, they would talk it out and work that out. And if people were, if a man wanted to cry, she gives one example of the man who they don't like to use anesthetic. I guess they want to do everything naturally. So one man was having his tooth pulled, and he was lying down, weeping in the lap of his wife, and not thinking anything of it. You don't have to feel as a man that you can't cry. So anyway, the whole point of this is what I want to just bring to your attention is that maybe in today's society, if we evaluate, we can think about it's our lifestyle that has created the emotions and the mind to be more unsettled. So given that, what can you do as an individual with willpower, with a choice, to change your life in such a way that you can create more balance? You're going to do it. Don't run from doctor to doctor. Even people running from one natural consultant to another. That's good if you get, good advice, and I hope here you'll get a lot of advice. But the main thing is that once you have the tools, you will know how to create equanimity. You just have to do it yourself. And I think the first thing we have to look at is our lifestyle. When we are tired, overworked, and stressed, there is no emotion that you can keep in balance when that is sort of the situation in your life. So it's very, very important to take time to rest. Now, I don't, care if you're the president of the United States, if you're a CEO, or what you're doing. Everybody needs rest. It will catch up with you at some point. And so it's very, very important to look at your life and to start thinking on that first basic level. Am I overdoing it? Inevitably, what you'll find is that you're probably going to earn the same amount of money by pulling back. And that rest is going to make you more creative, more dynamic, and you will actually enjoy your family life more. Now, one thing, and I always sound like a parrot because I talk about the same thing. One thing that I really do recommend for balancing the emotions, unlike anything, is transcendental meditation. I'm not a spokesperson for them. I am a certified teacher. I did a 6-month in-residence training to become certified, and I teach in the Chicago suburbs location. That is one tool that you can have which reduces cortisol, the major stress hormone. It's really a physical imbalance. So I've talked about in other videos how mind and body are intimately connected. Whatever you do, the mind affects the body and vice versa. So if you want to calm the emotions, you have to think about food, diet, lifestyle, getting rest, meditation, exercise, yoga, all these things. So in terms of the considering maybe lifestyle or considering what you need to change, I would recommend to learn Transcendental Meditation. You can go to tm.org, www.tm.org. You find a local teacher. Because of that cortisol reduction, you're going to be 50% immediately within 4 to 8 weeks. You're going to be at least 50 to 80% much better than you were. Now, let's talk about those of you already practicing Transcendental Meditation, maybe very open to other modalities of healthcare. Maybe you have been really eating clean, taking care of yourself. And so you're thinking for something deeper. And many of you, a lot of my clients, and when I give webinars and seminars, people will say, I'm just not there yet. There's just something still weighing on me emotionally or just something, and sometimes they can't pinpoint what it is. So I do want to cover this point with you. So suppose that you feel as if you're doing, for a long, long time, you've been really doing well with everything in your diet and your lifestyle and all of that, and Transcendental Meditation. And now, don't get too discouraged, because sometimes we have to just dig a little bit deeper into some of the emotional things that we are overlooking. And I do recommend journaling. Now, some of you, you might be seeing a psychologist. I think that's great. We're actually comparing Transcendental Meditation to psychotherapy. I think that's going to be an interesting study. It probably won't be completed for a few years. So I do think that it's nice to have somebody as a sounding board to talk to. But I would also recommend journaling and to write down some of your, emotions and how you're feeling. And it's almost like a dietary journal, that when you're not sure which foods are aggravating you, or which dosha that the foods are aggravating, that you can journal your emotions and see what are they linked to. And don't always take it so seriously, because maybe that emotion can leave you as quickly as it came. Maybe by going to meditate, maybe by going for a walk. But work through it, and if something is there, just know that life is a process. And that's this whole thing with Ayurveda, is that it's a process, and it could just be sometimes things are just hard to get a hold of or a handle of what is really going on. and you have to just keep improving everything, sticking with the diet and and sleep. Sleep is essential to having a good mood and to feeling completely balanced. But I think really the area of looking at our lives and seeing where can we get more rest, not just physically, but also emotionally and mentally. Some people say, "Oh, well, I am well rested. I sleep well, and I, you know, uh, don't work that hard." And but something that you must be doing something to overdo it to create some negative emotion. That is absolutely what I have experienced over 30 years with Ayurveda. That as soon as I pull back, if there's some emotion just starting to well up. Now, sometimes it means you need to take care of business in the sense of your emotional and mental state, that if you need to, if there's a situation at work that's bothering you, you need to address it. And that's why I say journal it, because if you write down main points of your emotions, you won't forget, because sometimes you get so busy, you go to something else and you had a good idea. Well, maybe I can talk to, my boss, or maybe I can talk to a coworker and discuss something with them. And then when you do that, it just lifts this weight off of you that maybe you have been keeping something inside. And if you can just find a calm manner, obviously everybody will react in a more, better way if it's a fairly calm manner. And you can talk to that person about the situation, and that will lift a weight off of you. So you have to really dig deep and find out, what can I do to resolve this situation. Many people procrastinate. So when we talk about, we have the vata, pitta, kapha doshas, and vatas are, worried and they're fearful, and they often cannot be confrontational. That's part of their fear. So they can tend to procrastinate, or they can, sort of blow up, but not with, if they don't have enough pitta, usually they blow up with not a lot of fire, just a lot of hot air, and they don't really get their point across. Pitta doshas can be a little too sharp, and so they might sort of burn bridges, or say things that are a little bit too harsh and are not well received. So pitta dosha has to also be careful about their delivery, and maybe to wait for a more calm time before they execute some idea or express their emotions to someone. Now the kapha dosha, they can tend to procrastinate, and they're very loving in nature, but sometimes if they also have that pitta quality, that fire will brew, and then the kapha dosha, when they're kapha pitta, when they blow, it's really, going to blow the roof off. So based on your dosha, vata, pitta, kapha, you can know, okay, how am I going to react to a certain situation? And what can I do to be authentic, be true to myself in that situation, allow myself to have integrity in a particular situation, but not feel as though the other person is not receiving it in the same level of integrity and dignity that it deserves. It's not an easy balance, and if the other person that you're needing to talk to is not very balanced, then it's going to be a little lopsided. But sometimes you still have to persevere and to get your emotion out. So I highly recommend journaling. If you feel like there's some ongoing negative emotion that is holding you back, then write it down, live with it for a while and see, is it just because I'm imbalanced? Maybe just because I'm not getting enough rest and exercise, I'm not eating right, all of those things. Or are there issues that I do need to deal with in any given situation? And I think that you're going to find that that's going to help you immensely. I know that when people practice the Transcendental Meditation twice a day regularly, all those emotions get balanced. People that tend to procrastinate, they will actually have more fortitude, and they will go and really be able to assess a situation more clearly and express themselves to those around them as needed. Those that need to pull back a little more, be softer in their execution, pitta dosha primarily, they'll do that. And the kaphas that are procrastinating, they are going to find that they can eventually, find the courage to maybe, if they have some of that vata fear, they can find that courage, and they will find the time to sit down with the person that they need to, organize their emotions with. And this is very, very important, because if we don't, then our life becomes burdened with some negative emotion that just constantly is there. And this is what I'm hearing from people time and time again. And so I do encourage you. I have YouTube videos. I have other videos talking about healthy cooking and healthy lifestyle, and the differences between the Vata, Pitta, Kapha, and what they need to do to stay balanced. And as I always go back to, is really the sleep issue. Get really good sleep. Try to get into bed by 10 o'clock, the latest 11, but you should really be asleep with lights out by 10 or 11 at night. And then getting minimum 7 to 8 to 9 hours of sleep. If you don't sleep well, it's just not going to be very nourishing for your mind or your body or your emotions. You can take melatonin. You can take blissful sleep. I have a lot of this also. It'll be on my blog and in my upcoming book. But you can take these, blissful sleep. If you go to my Ayurveda website, we have blissful sleep tablets. I would take that with the melatonin. It lends more support. And warm milk, that's the old sort of remedy. Warm milk, boiled milk with a little nutmeg, and then rubbing sesame oil or some nice herbalized oil on your feet. Sesame oil is very calming, and there's a Vata massage oil, particularly for the Vata dosha for sleep. So those are, some things that you can do. And there's also stress-free mind tablets, which are excellent. If you take a few of those twice a day, you will actually just that will help to induce sleep, and nice warm herbal teas, calming teas. And exercise is so essential for emotions. It's unbelievable. People, and I know if you're not exercising regularly, it's going to be really hard to get you moving. But I would definitely find an exercise buddy that you can work out with. You don't have to be a bodybuilder, or you don't have to do anything intense. Some people like to work out more. I actually do. I like to do, more weightlifting, and not intensive, but I do light weights, and I like more of a little bit of a challenge. But you don't have to do that if it's not appealing to you. If you just do a 30-minute brisk walk, you can start out with 15 minutes and work your way up. 30 minutes brisk walk. Do this Ayurveda oil massage. I have the instructions also on my blog. You can also email me. My contact information is in the beginning and at the end of this video. And so you can reach out to me for more recipes and this massage, Ayurveda massage. And you cannot imagine how it seems like they're small, and just saying, oh, if I'm depressed, go exercise, or if I'm, worried that I should go do a, oil massage. But it's extremely profound when you do this on a daily basis and you implement these Ayurveda principles. How much equanimity, how much balance it can create in an individual is not to be underestimated. And so much so that I actually want to have clinics around the country where people can go, and even if they're in a very serious state, where they would actually be able to stay for 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks if they really are going through some deep emotional time, and they need some natural healing where they can be supported in that, and they can get an Abhyanga massage. And this all should really be paid for by insurance, health insurance, or the government, or eventually I'm hoping soon to have something worked out where it can be affordable for people. And I think that's really what people deserve, and that will really cut healthcare costs immensely. Because the medications, what people report to me when they take these medications is a dulling effect, and they really don't like to take the medications. And so if you start to take some of the herbal preparations while you're taking the medications, of course, with the doctor's consent, they can be very helpful. And often these herbal products, it's just food. The doctors really shouldn't be against it. I would find a doctor that would work with you to support you on taking them, because it's just food. I mean, one of the supplements we have is ashwagandha. It's just an herb. I mean, what's wrong with that? It's really not going to interfere more than anything, any other food item with any medications. It really shouldn't. I'm sure there might be some herbs that could interfere with medication, and you could go to someone who would know about that, but rarely, because it's just like if you were to have blackberries or apples or kale or something, and it has different qualities to it, and these same qualities are often in the herbal products that you're taking. Licorice tea or ginger tea, it's all the same. So yeah, so that's what I do. I do recommend is to um, just think about what is bothering you and try to address it on the Ayurveda level based on the Vata, Pitta, and the Kapha dosha. And you have to really adhere to the seasons. We're coming up to Pitta season, the summer. It gets very, very warm. People get hot. They get overheated. They get more irritable. It's just the seasons can create those changes as well. So don't feel that there's all something deeply wrong with you. In Ayurveda, every person has to create balance based on the seasons, based on changes. Sometimes in your life, everything seems to be going well. There's not that much pressure, and that's wonderful. And then other times, there's more things happening. Everything, people say, oh, everything's coming at you at once. When that's happening, you have to pull back. Another thing in Ayurveda we say is really helpful: hobbies, that you don't forget the things that you love to do, and try to do them as often as you can. Now, of course, in a busy lifestyle, you may not go play golf or go sing a song or go watch a movie that you love, but take that time. I remember somebody told me that people used to tell some Ayurveda doctors used to tell people to go read the comic section of the paper or go get comic books. I thought, how great is that? That's like, instead of going to a doctor and getting medications, you're going to be in Ayurveda. The Ayurvedic expert is going to say, go and read comic books or read a novel or read what you love to do, what you love to read. And I think those are things I kind of joke around. There's something in Ayurveda called the rasayana, and that's what all these herbal preparations are called, rasayanas. They're nourishing. They have a nourishing quality. And sometimes other things can be nourishing. It doesn't have to be something materialistic. It can just be a walk in the park, maybe going hiking, maybe going to see your favorite movie, or go to the library and read a couple of good books and just stay at the library all day. Whatever it is. And I read something on Facebook the other day. It was really interesting about tree bathing. That when you go to the forest, they're doing research to show that the trees giving off that energy does have a powerful healing effect on the nervous system. And I know sun does, so I would recommend those of you a little bit down and depressed, take your D3, but also get sun. But I thought it was so interesting, this, we call it sunbathing. Well, now there's forest bathing or tree bathing, where when you go and you're around trees and around nature, that it really is very, very healing to the nervous system. So do things like that, and do what you love, do what you enjoy. We need to take the seriousness out of life. It's okay to be serious at times when we need to be, and to be firm, and to be assertive. Absolutely, we need to defend ourselves. We need to be righteous and stick up for things that we feel are important in our life to fight about. They say you choose your battles, and I think when you're looking at things from an Ayurveda perspective, you do need to choose your battles and choose them wisely. But those battles that you choose to pursue, then you should do it. But with always pulling back to go within and see if that's really the correct direction that you should go, and with a lightheartedness that you are taking care of yourself, you are doing the things that you need to do to create that balance for yourself and for others around you. And this is important. It's really almost, it should be sort of written in any agreement within any relationship that there will be, everybody will work as hard as possible to create that balance within themselves. Because if you create balance within yourself, your relationships are going to be more nourishing. So there's a great value. And I think I often say if you are out of balance and you kind of get into things that are a little bit difficult and possibly negative in nature, then you're not going to have that energy anymore. It's going to really, take away a lot of your energy. So you have to be careful that you don't lose your own balance as you're going into that. And the relationships can get more difficult because you can actually cause more hours of talking and going over, the whatever the situation is. Instead, if you're balanced and you just go with it in a very clear manner, you're going to waste, you're going to waste less time, and you can just get to the crux of the matter by having that clarity, that rested nervous system. You can just be very clear and go in like a laser and sort of handle, the situations that you have to do. Because if you are a sensitive individual, then it's going to um, more, if some people claim that they're more sensitive to the outside environment, and if that's you, then you know you need to have more rest, to go within more, to think about things more, and to because you're more affected by what happens around you, so you have to take greater care. So these are just some of my recommendations for this evening, and how you can balance. Now, when you balance the mind and the emotions, then the body is going to be very healthy as well. They're all connected, mind, body, and emotions. So if you eat some foods that are very nourishing to your particular body type and your dosha, then that's going to also calm the emotion. With vata dosha, they're having more fear and worry and anxiety. They need to have more of a vata pacifying diet, which I've talked about on other videos. I won't go through that again tonight, but you want to follow more vata pacifying. And pitta dosha, now, like I said, with their more anger, irritability, impatience, that's happening more in the summertime, but also it'll happen for all pitta type people. That in generally those are the negative emotions. So they want to follow a pitta pacifying diet, very cooling in nature. They have a lot of fire in the nervous system. Has to be cooled a little bit. Not so cooling that it's going to put out the fire completely, but just enough to keep enough fire in the nervous system for digestion and having that dynamic nature, but not too much. And then the kapha dosha, they can tend to be more greedy and more depressed and attached to things. And so they have to have more of a kapha pacifying diet, which is usually actually the opposite of pitta, more heating quality foods. Light that fire, get them going. They don't, because they can tend to repress their emotions, so we have to get them kind of moving. So they don't have enough fire, and they tend to get complacent and lazy, and that's a negative. So anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this segment and that you will follow the Ayurveda diet according to your dosha, and you can find a lot of that on my website, www.yourayurvedaconsultant.com. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Have a wonderful evening.